There will be plenty of action throughout the field. They will quickly get mixed up with the TCR or TCA cars, but just to separate things a little bit off the start and make it a little cleaner, we separate the GT4 class and they get ready to come to the green.
And it's a 20-second buffer between the two classes. The GT4 is obviously on the front chute as we speak. You can hear the revs picking up, and now the green flag waves. We're underway for the final race of the weekend here in the Sports Car Championship Canada, presented by Michelin. Nick Gallant in the 77 moves to the outside, and it looks like Jack Polito just didn't really fire as much as he needed to as the TCRs take their green.
Justin DiBenedetto, who is out in front, and Gary Kwok on the outside trying to muscle his way through. He slips back just a little bit, and now it's the 84 Richard Boak who's also looking to move up the inside and get a little closer to DiBenedetto.
Yes, we talked about some of the winners. You saw the blue Volkswagen of LP Montour. He's chasing the 66 of Gary Kwok. I think there was some contact maybe between Montour and the 82 of Marco Cerrone in through 1 and 2, and now look side by side, both holding the inside. Gary Kwok's going to try the outside, maybe diamond it off. Not enough there to get a run. That Honda's quick though. Yeah,
he's coming right back on the 84 Richard Boak. That Gary Kwok machine is quick, and as you mentioned, has shown speed all weekend, qualifying on pole, the TCR, and he is right up on the back bumper and rear wing of the 84 Richard Boak.
Marco Cerrone picking up the spot, diving underneath the 29 of LP Montour, so you can mark that. Audi RS3 up one more position. So Cerrone started all the way back in 9th position, and now he's up into the 7th spot overall. That includes the 3 GT4 cars in the front of the field. 3-car train in the front of the TCR class, though.
That's the best battle out on track right now. We just completed a little over a lap. It is the 4 of Justin DiBenedetto, Richard Boak in the 84, and the 66 of Gary Kwok, his first 3 in the TCR category, as Gary Kwok looks a little bit to the outside, and Richard Boak with the defensive line down the middle of the racetrack.
It's defensive and it's offensive at the same time, because if the 4 of Justin DiBenedetto slips up a little bit, he's in a perfect opportunity to take advantage and complete that pass. So if DiBenedetto drives it in a little too hard, but look at Gary Kwok now to the inside. He's got a nose there, but not enough to complete the pass.
Good racing here in this TCR category. 2nd and 3rd battling it out right now. The 84 Richard Boak, 66 of Gary Kwok trying to take over 2nd spot in class. And there, as you mentioned, another good battle with the 82 of Marco Cerrone and LP Montour in the 29 doing double duty to jump out of this car and get into the Pinty's car for all of them.
Catches a little bit of the draft as the 66 locks up the right front going through turn number 1. You saw the smoke, but LP Montour trying to catch that draft and make it work into turn number 1. It won't, and he's got to be careful because Dean Baker in the 52 is right there as well.
He's been plenty aggressive through this weekend as well. We saw him hard charging in the race earlier this morning, so much so that he had a big lockup of all 4 Michelins headed into corner number 5. May have affected him a little bit later on in the race, and well, still showing some pretty aggressive maneuvers there, looking up the inside of the 29 of LP Montour. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Slows right down, and it's a drag race out of 5.
Yeah, it was aggressive, but careful at the same time as he backed it down. He didn't want to slide too far and collect the 29 of LP Montour. So at least he has gone on record with LP Montour to say, I was here, and you better be careful because I'm coming. So if LP Montour wasn't aware that the 52 of Dean Baker was there, Jocelyn Hebert, so he's right back there too in the 89. So as these cars start to mix it up, oh, smoke from the 84 Richard Boak.
That is a definite condition that you want to address, because that looked like a big puff of blue smoke. Oh, contact with the 82 and the 29. That's Marco Cerrone, and the 29 of LP Montour. That is a big hit.
That is a big impact. Turn number 1. So there is the 84. So that is the stricken Audi of Richard Boak. And then these two had actually made their way around Boak and then made contact going into turn number 1. Full course caution is out. With 25 minutes left to go, have another look. Look at the blue Volkswagen at the top of your screen. Did Montour have brakes?
It almost looked like there were parts coming out from underneath that 29 car as he moved to the inside of the 82 of Marco Cerrone. I don't know if that was a brake issue or not, but it looked to be that there was debris kicked up and smoke. Have another look at the 29. Watch as he darts to the inside. See the big puff of smoke and debris coming out from underneath that car. I don't know if there were issues with that car before he made the contact. There could have
potentially been, when he put his foot on the brake, maybe a rotor or caliper exploded, and he didn't have brakes moving in, because that did not scrub any speed as they both got collected and went hard into the tire wall, which is super unfortunate to see. But it doesn't look like anything malicious there, just a problem on the 29, likely the cause of this incident. All the drivers are up and out. There's Richard Boak. He was not collected in this. The car he was driving started to quit. Looks like he had some engine trouble leading to this, and he's sort of wondering what went on, if he was a problem or did he cause it, or there he's having words with LP Montour. We're waiting to see Marco Cerrone jump out of his car.
What a shakeup in the field, though, with the difficulties with Richard Boak, that was slowing down on course, and it looked like the 82 and the 29 were going to move to the inside. The 29 saw that, LP Montour saw that as an opportunity to maybe pick up another spot, but it looked like he simply went without brakes, and not because of a lack of effort, but it just looked like he did not make any slowdown at all. There you see the drivers embrace. Everything's okay as they talk it out on course.
Yeah, and I think LP Montour went, I tried to put my foot on the brake, and because it looked like Marco Cerrone might have been agitated originally, and then LP Montour likely said, listen, I tried my best to stop, and unfortunately you were there. But Marco Cerrone, obviously a long-time veteran of sports car racing in many different disciplines. He's pretty much seen it all, and he's a very, very solid competitor, and a very clean competitor too. He's not one to get into the mix like that, nor is LP Montour. Montour's an aggressive driver, yes, but not a dirty driver. Like,
measured, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of them.
Doesn't take out other drivers, doesn't knock them out of the way on purpose, and that's probably why those drivers are able to settle their differences fairly quickly on the racetrack.
But what a turn of events here in race number 3 for the Sports Car Championship Canada, presented by Michelin. 3 top runners in the TCR class, all eliminated, and it looked like it was a mechanical issue for the 84 of Richard Boak. He began to slow after seeing a big puff of blue smoke on that car. He slowed down, headed into corner number 1. And then it was the 82 of Marco Cerrone who moved to the inside to try to go around the 84 of Richard Boak, and LP Montour in the 29 saw perhaps an opportunity to pick up not 1 but 2 positions and dive to the inside. But as soon as he hit the brakes, you could see debris and shrapnel coming out from underneath that car, and he collected the 82 and took it into the tire barrier.
Big damage on all the vehicles involved, other than the 84 Richard Boak. No visible damage, but likely something. You saw the puff of white smoke as they went onto the front straightaway. All this happening, though, as Nick Galange in the 77 leads the 22 of Jack Polito. And they were working through lap traffic. Trevor Hill in the 2 car is a lap down the TCA class car. He's 3rd in class behind Jonathan Young and Eric Koontz. And Justin DiBenedetto currently leads the TCR. Gary Kwok, who is in that battle with the 84 of Richard Boak, with the 29 of LP Montour. He is currently 2nd in the TCR class, and then Dean Baker in the 52, who's right there as well, is 3rd in class. Those 2 cars, the 66 and the 52, are separated by the 3 of Vince Martab, who is 3rd in GT4. So it's a little bit of a mix on track, but it's pretty easy to keep track of when you just drum down and think about it for a second.
This is what happens during sports car racing, is the 3 different classes of cars do get mixed up as they circulate around the track. Of course, the GT4 cars, bigger, heavier, stronger, with more horsepower, so they'll circulate a little bit more quickly, and everything everything gets mixed up, and that's part of the challenge for these drivers as well, is navigating the lap traffic. Part of the sports car racing appeal is having to deal with so many cars out on track. They approach corners at different speeds. You have to be aware of the faster cars approaching you, and you have to be aware of slower cars that you're going to have to navigate your way through as they continue to clear that problem in corner number 1. We'll get back to green flag racing in just a couple of minutes, but we have seen this before in the 2 previous races with the 77 of Nick Gallant and out in front of the 22 of Jack Polito. It has ended in the 2 previous races this weekend with the 22 finding his way past Nick Gallant. So this will be the 3rd chance for Nick Gallant to secure that victory. And what has he learned earlier today and last night in the races that he might be able to use in that battle with Jack Polito for top spot?
And interesting talking with Jack Polito a little bit earlier on this afternoon. He knows the 77 is not running for points this year. So the 77 is just chasing race wins. And Jack was saying, well, you know, I don't really have to pass him. I will still get maximum points because I am running for the points championship. The 77 of Nick Gallant is not. So he's like, I don't really have to force the issue, but he says, I like winning. So,
who doesn't?
Exactly. There you can see the damage to the back end of the Martella Autosport number 82 of Marco Cerrone. And they're picking up pieces of the 29 car with a shovel, which is never a good sign.
No, that's again, there was debris that was clearly visible coming out from underneath that 29 car as he jumped on the brakes to try to slow down to get past the 82 of Marco Cerrone and maybe pick up that additional spot after the 84 had troubles. But wow, what a collision between those two. Just thankfully all drivers hopped out, all the drivers okay, had a quick chat, everybody's good, and get ready to get back to green flag.
Really too bad we didn't stay with that camera shot as the flatbed was rolling by the camera platform, because then it would have given us a glimpse, like take a look inside the wheel and find out, is the rotor smashed? Did it actually erupt? Like, what is the extent of damage in there? Because it looked like it was probably in the right rear that things went really amiss. Although the left rear is pretty exploded too. So we'll have to chat with LP Montour, find out the real story there. As the crews look on, just getting the last little bit of water coming out of the tire walls, the debris left on track. And it looks like we'll go back to green here. There should be about 15 minutes left to go under green flag conditions for the FEL Sports Car Championship Canada presented by Michelin.
I was out a little bit earlier wandering around through the paddock areas and noticed that the temperature had dropped significantly from earlier today when these cars were out on track first thing this morning. The sun was just coming up, really starting to heat up the track, but a lot of cloud cover present now, and it was noticeably cooler outside. So I don't know if that's going to benefit one driver or manufacturer in particular, but maybe just the setup is going to be a little more conducive to slightly cooler temperatures this afternoon.
Yeah, we've seen these Michelin tires perform in colder temperatures running in these spring and fall conditions here in Canada. You never get a warm day in the spring and fall, or you might get the odd one, but they seem to perform okay. So once they're up to temperature, it does take a little bit to get them up to temperature, but the drivers will be aware. And here you can see the damage to the 82 of Marco Cerrone as the car rolls by on the flatbed. So there they go. They're trying to work that heat in those Michelin tires and keep it up to temperature so it sticks going into turn number 1.
77 and Nick Gallant out in front of the 22 of Jack Polito in the GT4 category. It is Justin Di Benedetto leading the 66 of Gary Kwok in the TCR category. And then Jonathan Young ahead of Eric Kuntz, ahead of Trevor Hill in the TCA category. A little bit further down as we're getting set, hopefully close to returning to green flag action. Lights are still on the pace car. We may need one more lap to finish this cleanup.
Yeah, so the clock continues to tick down. We're about 16 minutes left, and that's plenty of time. Even if we do another lap under caution, yeah, you can see that the white flag set to come out probably for the next one. But again, Justin Di Benedetto looking to double up here in the TCR class. He picked up a victory in the FEL Motorsports Sports Car Championship Canada presented by Michelin in the earlier round today. A bit of an interesting schedule for the SCCC. Starting the day off 9:40 this morning, so one of the first classes on track was the SCCC. And that's after they ran last night under the lights, so that race didn't finish until well after 9 o'clock last night. 12 hours later, you're back on the track and racing once again, so you had to make any repairs as we hit the halfway mark, so that's officially halfway in this 30-minute timed race. Still the yellow flag shown. Make any repairs overnight, have to figure out some sleep in there somehow. Get up, hit the track at 9 o'clock this morning, or 9:30 this morning, and then turn around, and by 3:30 in the afternoon, you're racing again. I mean, that is such a tight turnaround for these cars, for these drivers, and for the owners as well.
All in the span of about 20 hours to complete those 3 races. I imagine that all of these teams will be looking forward to the downtown festivities in Trois-Rivières to continue the enjoyment of the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières that we all look forward to returning to every year because of the festival atmosphere that encompasses the whole town. It is a joy to come back and visit every year and be part of it and enjoy the celebration, and it will continue, I suspect, for these teams because they will not be racing tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
and they'll be able to enjoy it fully.
Yeah, and some need to get rid of some of the stress the weekend as well. So yeah, it'd be nice to kick back on a patio and enjoy the beautiful weather that we're getting here in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And something new this year, you talk about the Downtown Festival. Normally, it's like an exorbitant firework display that goes on for about half an hour. It is a crazy good firework display. This year, because of the forest fires in the area, instead the organizers have brought in a drone flight display.
Looking forward to seeing that. Over 450 drones as part of it, and looking forward to seeing that. There we are, lights out of the pace car, dives to pit lane. We are getting set to go back to green flag conditions with a little under 13.5 minutes remaining.
So Nick Gallant, followed by Jack Polito, the 2 GT4 cars will start to pick up the pace a little bit quicker than everybody else here on the front straightaway. That's Trevor Hill in the 2, immediately pulling up and out of the way as the faster cars work their way through.
Nice move by Trevor Hill in the TCA class to move to the side, use the turn signal to tell the faster cars which side to take him on, and let them continue with their battle. As they head down to post turn number 3, Nick Gallant pulls out a bit of a gap now in the 22 of Jack Polito, and that is the 4 Justin DiBenedetto trying to hold off the 66 of Gary Clark, who's charging hard.
Now with the GT4s though, Gallant has been able to do that. He opens up a bit of a gap, and then it takes Polito really 3 or 4 laps to get in a rhythm and figure things out, and then he starts his charge and makes it pass. But he's doing just about the same. He's 3 or 4 car lengths back right now. What's not happening, there's no car lengths between these 2 cars in the lead for TCR, and it's Gary Kwok who is all over the 4 of Justin DiBenedetto.
Yeah, the top 2 in 2 categories, both GT4 and TCR, have paired up to do battle. That is the 4 Justin DiBenedetto, now coming through the left-hander and heading towards the right-hander to get back out onto the front part of the course. The 66 of Gary Kwok in hot pursuit. Jack Polito following the 77 of Nick Gallant. He is about 0.6 of a second behind. Gary Kwok closer than that to Justin DiBenedetto.
He puffed those tires about 3 or 4 times, or maybe that smoke from the engine on the 66. Either way, there's a little wisp of white smoke coming out of the back of the 66. At first I thought it was tires going to lock up, but it might be just as he lets off the accelerator. Some white smoke pops we'll see in turn number 5. Justin DiBenedetto taking that defensive line into turn number 5, but Gary Kwok to the inside, a big dive down low, and he will take over top spot in the TCR class.
Great crossover move by Gary Kwok in the 66. Lured Justin DiBenedetto to the outside, then jumped to the inside of the left-hander in turn number 5, and now trying to pull away and increase his lead in the TCR category.
Dean Baker remains on the podium in the 52. Jocelyn A. there and Vaughn Tomlinson round out the top 5 in the TCR class. Jonathan Young continues to lead TCA. Eric Coates and Trevor Hill, the top 3 there. This is at the front of the GT4 class, and it's Nick Gallant. Jack Polito just turning quickest lap time of anyone, so there you go. he gets the ball rolling, and it starts to pick up momentum, and that's what Jack Polito is doing.
Just as you said, takes a lap or two to build the speed back into that Mustang before he starts to claw back into the lead of the 77 of Nicolet. Now just 0.3 of a second behind, and trying to use all that muscle to find his way around that 77 and make it a clean sweep for the weekend. Still some work to do to close that gap, but Jack Polito is, shall we say, lurking for the lead.
Yeah, and Nicolet will be looking in that mirror and taking note of that. As you can see, the 22, the young driver in the 22, takes a look every now and again just to poke his nose to show I'm here, and then fall back in line.
Taking a slightly different line through corners 7, 8, and 9 is Jack Polito, and we need to see if he can move in just a little bit closer as they come across the start-finish line once again. And you know, he actually lost a tempo that last lap, but that's not a significant gap, I would say, right now. He's, again, lurking with about 9.5 minutes left to go, and that's been Jack Polito's form, is to take the lead late in the 77.
And it looked like Nicolet was very tiny through the twisting sections, 8, 9, and 10, and onto the front straightaway. So that's going to benefit him going into turn number 1. Here is where he needs to drive it in just a little bit harder, and he does that time. Keep the 22 at bay. A big cahoot from that transition, concrete onto asphalt from the 22 of Jack Polito. And it doesn't upset that car too much.
TCR battle has broken off just a little bit. Gary Block continues to lead. Justin DiBenedetto, Dean Baker running in third. Closest battle for the top spot in category right now is the GT4, and the overall lead in this race, the 77 of Nicolet, continues ahead of Jack Polito, just about 0.4 of a second as they come across the timing stripe once again at the start-finish line. Get a look at it, and yeah, still about 0.4 of a second, with 8.5 minutes remaining in this third and final race for the Sports Car Championship Canada. Can Nicolet get a win, or is it going to be Jack Polito sweep the weekend series?
Whoa, so close to that concrete wall on turn exit off of turn number 3 for both Nicolet and Jack Polito as they drifted way to the outside, but again, trying to push their cars just that much further, trying to get more out of them. And that time the bump really upset that Ford Mustang off of turn number 5. You can see the Mercedes settled nicely. The Mustang hopped and bobbled, and that affected the drive for Jack Polito. He might have had an opportunity to get up alongside the Mercedes, but unfortunately hit the bump wrong, and the car really didn't take nicely to it.
We have seen through the last day that corner number 5, the transition from asphalt to concrete, or vice versa, from concrete to asphalt, plus the bumps, it does cause the cars to get a little unsettled and can pitch them into the outside wall. We've seen, I would say, a half a dozen cars brush up against the outside wall at the very least. So it is a fight for these drivers every time they go through that corner, as Nicolet is flashing his headlights at one of the slower cars ahead of him and letting him know, please move over because I've got the 22 in hot pursuit.
That's Megan Tomlinson in the Shoots Autosport Repair number 40 or 38 TCA class, and again Nicolet caught her in turn number 3, and that's the result going into turn number 5. You can see what was a half-second lead is now about a car length and no more.
Under 7 minutes remaining, the 22 draws a little bit closer to the 77 for the lead in the GT4 category, the overall lead in the Sports Car Championship Canada. Final race 3 this weekend here at GP3Rs. They put another lap up on the board, and the hunt continues for the 22. Is he going to move this time? He's getting a little bit closer, or is he going to wait maybe another lap or two and just try to keep Nicolet on edge?
6.5 minutes to go now as they cross the stripe. This has been a decent length green flag run for the Sports Car Championship Canada, presented by Michelin. And again, in case you haven't caught the earlier races this weekend, Michelin signing on for 3 more years in their partnership with FPL Motorsports and the Sports Car Championship Canada. Great news for the series. Several different levels as the leaders work through lap traffic once again. That's Jonathan Young in the 8 car, tucked to the outside. Nicolet swerving back and forth. Eric Kuntz not too much further ahead in the 25, but boy, Nick Gallant almost lost it there.
That is part of the difficulty navigating the slower cars. Eric Kuntz did get by Jonathan Young to take over the lead in the TCA category, and now both the 77 and the 22 trying to get by both of them and not let them interfere with their battle in GT4.
Nick Gallant catching these slower cars at the worst time. At that time, I don't think Eric Kuntz knew that Gallant was back there, and now he does for sure. As Gallant goes by, look at the long look in the mirror from Nick Gallant back to the 22 of Jack Polito.
Jack Polito has got that 77 in his sights. 5 minutes remaining in this third and final race of the weekend, trying to find a way to get around. As you mentioned earlier, we spoke to Jack briefly. He said, do I have to be aggressive? How aggressive do I have to be? I'm going to get the points. It would be nice to have the victory, but you don't want to tear up that car in the process.
Especially now, at this stage of the weekend, you can take your chances when they present themselves, but you don't take unnecessary risks. As Justin DiBenedetto has moved around Gary Kwok once again, so move the Audi back to top spot in the TCR classes. We've been following the lead battle in the GT4s. This has changed hands once again, so Gary Kwok, who is looking so good and comfortable in the front, something may have happened. Maybe he got swamped in lap traffic.
Interesting, yeah, because he had a number of car lengths between he and Justin DiBenedetto, who looked to be in control, but as we've seen, lap traffic can certainly play a role, and it may have in this case. Justin DiBenedetto now the lead in TCR, followed by Gary Kwok and Dean Baker, 52, in the final podium position.
Yeah, so Dean Baker is like 6.3 seconds behind Gary Kwok. There you just see the blue and silver nose of the Audi coming into the top of your screen, so that's the distance back to Dean Baker. But before Justin DiBenedetto starting to panic, flashing those lights.
There's still that smoke coming from the back of the 66 car of Gary Kwok as well, so I don't know if that's had any impact on performances. Polito has a little look up the inside of the 77, but not quite close enough there. 3.5 minutes remaining.
And again, Nick Gallant able to get a great drive off of turn number 5, so it might just mean that he's backing up that corner a little bit. Slower on entry, so it gives you the optical illusion that the 22 is catching you, but then he gets such a good drive off and opens up that gap to about half a second once again.
It seems like Nick Gallant, as you mentioned, now on approach to corner number 5, has found something that is working for him. The car looks a little unsettled as he's on the outside of the track to driver's right, but then just before he gets to the corner, it seems to plant, and he can accelerate through that corner and get away a little bit quicker.
1 and 2. Now he's opened up a considerable margin on the 22 of Jack Polito. So is it at this point that Polito is like, you know what? There's 2.5 minutes left to go in this time race. I think I'm going to be happy with this, or do I push it and almost hit the concrete wall on turn 3 exit again?
Back to the TCR battle. That is the 66 of Gary Kwok. That is pursuing number 4, Justin DiBenedetto. That is the fight for the lead in the TCR category. That is also for 3rd overall in this sports car race here at GP3R. And Gary Kwok is closed right up again. And is he going to maybe make that move in the remaining 2 minutes? If he gets the opportunity, he's certainly going to take a look and try to get back out in front and lead that category.
Gary Kwok would love a win in this new car. These are 2 brand new cars introduced to the series. In 2023, Justin DiBenedetto debuted his at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and the 66 of Gary Kwok brought his out for the first time at the Honda Indy Toronto. So they're the latest and greatest as far as technology goes in the TCR class. As the white flag flies, 1 more lap to go for this battle for tops in the TCR. And now Gary Kwok sensing a little desperation, and he lets it slide out to the outside. Look at how tight it is at the front of the GT4 group as well.
Jack Polito with a little bit of lap traffic to worry about as well. That is the 3 of Vince Partap, also in the GT4 category, but he's not in contention right now. It is between the 77 and the 22, half a lap to go.
Right in the tire tracks is Jack Polito chasing the 77 of Nick Gallant. They'll see some lap traffic just ahead. I'm not sure if they're close enough to catch it. Polito tucks to the inside, taking a look. but can't make it work as the 77 of Nick Gallant, he's going to play a little bit of defense through these final couple corners, but he'll hang on. He'll win his first of the weekend on the last race of the weekend for the Sports Car Championship Canada. Nick Gallant in the 77, followed by Jack Polito, and a congratulatory flash of the headlights from Jack Polito to Nick Gallant. We're looking at this battle for the TCR crown, and it will go to Justin DiBenedetto, but not by much. 0.2 of a second. Yeah, Gary Kwok was there. All he needed was another lap to get past the 4 of Justin DiBenedetto. It was that tight at the line. What a race in that division as well. Looks like Eric Kuntz is going to come home. Or no, that's Hill. That's Trevor Hill. Trevor Hill is a lap down to your race leader. So there you go. Eric Kuntz, the winner in the TCA class, followed home by Jonathan Young. Trevor Hill will round out the top 3, despite being a lap down almost to the race leader in the TCA class. But a wide open field here in the Sports Car Championship Canada. Overall race win and GT4 class win for the 77 of Nick Gallant. Justin DiBenedetto making it back-to-back wins in the number 4 in the TCR class. And then Eric Kuntz, a dream weekend here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.